Hello and welcome back. I'm Brigitte, here again to talk about finances and how they really can be a blessing to you, your family, and all of humanity when they're managed properly. I want to talk about wealth building for beginners and specifically about the 401k. Let's start off with what it is. So a 401k is a savings plan that's offered by employers. And many people in the United States have used 401ks to become millionaires. Now, there are some advantages to using the 401k, but there are also some challenges. So let's start with the advantages. Number one, you pay less taxes. And that's a big one, unless of course you just really enjoy paying taxes. But you contribute to your 401k before you pay any taxes on it. Another advantage is that participating in a 401k can be automated. Now, there is some paperwork, there's some things you have to do up front. You have to go and talk to your human resources department about. But once you set it up, you can pretty much automate it. You also get, and this is huge, please listen, this is huge. You also get contributions from your employer. The other thing is you can take this money with you when you leave your current job. So if you leave your job in the next year or two or a few months, you can take this with you. You can roll it over into your new 401k at your new employer. Now, as I said, there are also some challenges. So with few exceptions, you can't get your money back out of the 401k until you are 59 and a half years old. And if you try to get it out, you are hit with 10% penalty of whatever you're taking out of the 401k, and on top of that, taxes. I talked about leaving the company. Well, you can leave your company and take your 401 contributions, what you put in, that you can take with you. Now, the portion that your employer put in, you may be able to take that if you are vested. And vested differs from company to company. So a company may say, if you remain with us for a year or 3 years, you are vested. You have a right to take all the money you personally put in and all the money we put in on your behalf. The other thing about a 401k, it's an investment. So that means there is risk and you could lose money in the short term. Now, historically, over the long term, and you remember, you're trying to keep this in until you're 59 and a half. So if you start when you're younger, you have a lot more time to try to make up any losses. And I just want to take this moment to remind you, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not a financial expert. I am sharing with you principles, research that I've used that have worked for me. So, where did we start? The first thing is you may want to give a call to your HR or human resources department. Sometimes you can do this when you're being onboarded. So when you first come to the company, you know, all those forms you sign out and W-4s, all that you have to fill out. Okay. Well, often there is an opportunity for you to sign up and begin participating in the company's 401k program. And let me stop there. Pump the brakes a minute. Not every company offers a 401k. They are not required to by law. They don't have to, but many companies do. Question number 2 is you want to find out eligibility. Can you start participating immediately, or is there a waiting period? You know, there could be some probationary period at the company and you have to have worked there for 90 days or something like that before you can start participating. So you want to find out about eligibility. Then you want to get details on how do you sign up. What specific paperwork do you need? What link do you need? Especially if you didn't do this when you were onboarded, when you first started at this job. It's still fine. You could still go to HR. Next, you want to specifically ask about matching. This is critical, and it's a big motivation for participating in a 401k program. Now, there may be different terms. Your employer may say matching contributions. They may say an employer match. They may say 100% match. They may say partial match. Whatever terminology they want to use, you're looking for match, because basically what a match is saying is that you're going to put some money in and the employer is going to match all or part of what you put in. Some people, when they go to HR, they're all excited and they get a little discouraged because they see something that says something to the effect of,
our company will match 100% of the first 3% of your salary and additional 50% of salary up to 6%.
And at that point, your eyes glaze over and you're like, I have no idea what they're talking about and I don't want to mess this up, so never mind. I'll just put it off to another day. Hey, we're going to break that down for you right now. When a company says there's going to be 100% matching, let's say on the first 3%, this is what they mean. So for a person who has a salary of $40,000 and they decide they're going to contribute 3% of their salary, that is 0.03 times 40,000 or $1,200 per year, which is about $100 a month, right? So that's what they're going to give, $1,200 into this 401k. At a 100% match, it means the employer is matching dollar for dollar. What I'm saying is your employer is going to put in another $1,200. So in effect, you have put $2,400 into a 401k, and those funds are going to be invested in something. We'll talk about that later. What if there's a full match and a partial match? So now an employee who makes $40,000 a year says, hey, I'm going to invest 6%. Nothing changes on that first 3%, dollar for dollar match, $1,200. On the second 3%, the company is saying, we're only going to match 50 cents for every dollar you put in. Okay, whatever, it's still free money. So on the next 3%, instead of putting in $1,200, they only put in $600. We will take it for a total of $1,800. That means as an employee, you're putting in $200 a month and your employer is putting in another $1,800 a year. You're at $4,200 that you are investing every year. Yeah, now you get it. You understand why there are 401k millionaires when people do this for 20 years, 25 years, 30 years. You understand? Yes. So the next thing is all this money is going into your 401k. Now you got to do something with it. You have to invest. If you have paperwork from your HR and they say these are the things you can invest in, and it could be 5 things you could invest in, or it could be 15 different types of investments. As a beginner, one of the easiest things that I found that I could do was to invest in something called target fund. Well, if you see something that says some name up front and it ends with 2025, 2030, 2035, 2040, so on every 5 years, these are basically target funds. And what you do is you find the date that is closest to the date, the year when you want to retire. So say you want to retire in 2040 or 2041. You may choose the target fund that says 2040. And that is going to include stocks, it's going to include bonds, and It's probably going to include a lot more stocks because you're going to take more risk. There could be more loss. But as you get closer to retirement, you'll have fewer and fewer stocks and more bonds that are safer, more secure. You don't really have to do anything. The selection of the stocks are all part of funds that are selected for you. So the only thing you really have to do is decide which date makes the most sense. Now that has worked for me pretty well. What should you be on the lookout for? A Roth 401k. Now, a Roth 401k means you pay the taxes now, and you don't want to be bothered with taxes later on. You're like, let me just pay taxes now. It's kind of up to you, and you can talk to your tax professional if you want to get some more advice on that. The 401k can be an incredibly good tool if you understand the advantages as well as the challenge. It is certainly something to think about and pray about. God bless you. Hope this helped.